We're trying again, folks. We're trying again. Hello, hello, hello. Is this better? Have I got a circle going round somewhere there? Yeah, is it all okay? I'm guessing it is. Oh, good. Obviously, I don't know. I had some issue. And hello there to you, Pingu. Oh dear. Ever decreasing circles. Yes. Let's hope that this one succeeds. We can get to at least 10 o'clock without buffering, um, which sounds like a late 90s vampire based show type thing. Just thought you decided to play an episode of Ever Decreasing Circles on the live stream. I would probably get a copyright notice for that, which I got for last week. Well, apparently doesn't affect my channel because I played what are they called? Electric Six's Gay Bar song at the beginning, and yeah, that's been picked up by the special mice at YouTube that can hear. They're trained to hear these things. It's quite strange, really. Dinosaur Dad he's even getting this from Australia, which is marvelous. The MODT fail has been remedied and it's back on the road. Yes, the man has been out with his resin and pumped it into my hole. The hole in the windscreen thing, when they repair it. That's what I mean by that. Simone never liked Buffy the Vampire Slapper. Was it Sarah Michelle Gellar? She was quite the thing when I was a late teen, early 20 type person. Yeah. Pink says any excuse to get more videos on my channel. Absolutely. I'm completely mercenary about it. Chris says, there you are. And there you are as well. Stephen S. Paul says, excuse me. Yeah, no, I meant the resin that you repair a windscreen chip with that's in the driver's field of joy. Not no triangle of dooms on Beards and Bangers. We have a field of joy with our windscreen wipers. Simone says she was as plain as paper. Yeah, maybe I saw her in something different and she had, I don't know, a mini skirt on. Pingu never liked Buffy either. I can't say I ever watched it. I just remember seeing videos of it. Yeah. Chris's car, and so the signal really was bad because I did say, Chris, that I do remember your car now that was formerly covered in lacquer peel, and that you have restored lovingly to looking like an absolute beautiful thing. Yes, and I think I remember your comment now on the video from Sunday, which is available to watch on my channel. Yeah, but no, Chris, lovely car. Le Mans green is a favorite color, and I even know what it looks like now, thanks to you. Simone is a sucker for brunette. I've got a thing for gingers, actually. Yeah, first girlfriend was a ginger, so yeah. Dinosaur Dad says interesting discussion about 2-year MOT you and Norman had. Yeah, we need to continue. That live stream was more of a test of the StreamYard software, which I'm not using tonight because Simon's done loads of research into it, and I just kind of had a bit of trepidation. We tried to go live together on Saturday, and it went wrong, and that was the YouTube sharing. So yeah, it was good, and yeah, we will continue that. It's a good topic. 2-year MOTs plus MOT exemptions for cars over 40 years old. And yeah, because that's the 40-year-old one's a good debate because you've got cars that are 40 years old that can be quite potent in terms of power and speed. Um, yeah, so maybe it's not a good not a good idea that those cars aren't um, are not MOT. But I think people do still kind of have a yearly check if they're responsible. But we will continue that debate, that's for sure. Um, Chris's ZT was very nice. It definitely is. There was lots of nice cars there, but yeah, Chris's stood out. Mine's 99 is here. Good evening, sir. Evening, Rob. Sorry for being late. Just been to the early evening Earls Barton car show. That sounds very nice. And Earls Barton is quite a nice part of Northamptonshire, from memory. I used to have a colleague who lived that way. So yeah, nice midweek, early evening car show. Sounds lovely. Um, Pingu asks me if I watched Charmed for the stories. Obviously, no, I didn't, and I'm assuming from that it had some tasty fillies in it. In underscore says in the end credits of Buffy, one of the crew is called Thomas Wanker. Maybe it's the German pronunciation, Thomas Wanker. I would imagine it's that, Matt. I can't. I can't. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. Underscore says Buffy was proper cute. So Buffy's. So underscores in the yes for Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yeah, we'll continue this as a little vote for Sarah Michelle or Buffy if you prefer to call her that. Chris says Rob, you're welcome to test drive sometime if you like. Would love to. Thank you very much. We shall arrange that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Pinky says I prefer Scully from the X-Files myself. That's Gillian, isn't it? The woman who made Margaret Thatcher almost sexy with her portrayal in The Crown. Anyone who can do that takes some doing. Yeah, well put together is Gillian. Simone says That's never a good thing. I found a hole in TC. Needs to be welded as a matter of urgency. Yep. Yeah. Oh dear. Where was it? Was it a sill or was it another panel? Was it a different area? Tell us where your hole is, Simone. And yeah. Well, and are you going to weld it yourself? I'm sure you are. Underscore says Gillian Anderson. Yes, please. So I think Gillian's going to do a little bit better than Sarah Michelle. Chris Gregory says, "Oh yes, she's cool." I'm assuming you're relating. We're now to Gillian Anderson, so we're going for the more. I don't know. Sarah Michelle Gellar is probably not a spring chicken herself now. I would imagine because wasn't Buffy like late 90s, which is like 20 odd years ago. Jeepers. Stephen S. Paul starts as he always does with these wonderful tales of what's been received into his place of work. We just received a 73 Fiat 124 Coupe from the original owner. 1973 Fiat from the original owner. It's our job to sell it. 59,000 original miles. Owner is available to answer any questions. It comes with about 30 plus years of spares. That sounds incredible. And what's that going to sell for? I mean, obviously over here, people would, regardless of its provenance, put barn find and then try and charge 1,100. Well, about 300% too much for the car. Like a Rover 200 I spotted on eBay last week, which was absolutely hilarious. A barn find covered in green slime for £1,500. Yeah. That tickled me, and I did share it on the Facebook group, so I think it tickled some of you also. Simone says Scully from X-Files. Yes, yes, I would too. Matt says Rob, if you're at the show in Loughborough, I know how to say it really, next month, you're welcome to take my Streetwise out. I need to do a 1.4 Streetwise now that I've got my much desired diesel Streetwise. Yeah, I need to test all the different variants. So we've got the what I think yours is 1.4. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a 1.8 step speed. Um, but I want to find one of those as well, and a 1.6. But I think, yeah, lots of 1.4s around. But yeah, we need to ready ourselves for 2024, the year of the Streetwise. Ross says Sarah Michelle Gellar is on 911 show. Don't know what that is either, but now I'll have to look it up. Simone says front end chassis rail. Okay. Good luck with that, Simone. I hope it's fairly easily sortable. But yeah, that sounds like you've got to get bits off before you can fix it. Oh dear. Pingu has been a good beardie and not bought any more Rovers this month. Well done. Well done. Yeah, I'm not buying anything else now. Not looking. Underscores is a 1.4. Excellent. I look forward to getting out in the 1.4 Streetwise. And Pingu says that I can have a go in his 1.6 Streety. Yes, please. And that means I've just got to find a 1.6, which is probably going to be 1.8 step speed. Sorry, Pingu just said one, which may be a little bit difficult. I'm guessing, maybe not. Simone says Deanna Troy from Star Trek Next Gen. Anyone? Again, no idea. No idea who that is. Someone please get back to Simone with an answer, because I can't. I really can't, and I don't want to sit here on Google. Going back to the Fiat 124 from 1973, the owner, Stephen S. Paul, says the owner wants $1,000. He's already changed the oil, bought new from tires and bought new tires. Sorry, changed the oil, bought new tires, and he replaced some bulbs. Carburetor was rebuilt last year, as was the brakes. Lots of parts in general. $1,000. That sounds like, shall I import it? That sounds like an absolute bloody bargain, if you ask me. Wow. You always come to us on these Wednesday evenings with some magnificent tales. But yeah, future live streams. I'm gonna stick with the 9 o'clock Wednesday. I think that works well. But Simon and I will probably try and do a Saturday 7 p.m. one for about an hour as a regular thing, if we can get all this StreamYard malarkey sorted out. It seemed the little trial seemed to work well the other night, and I watched it back. Oh, must have been yesterday morning, and it seemed to look good. It's always when you watch these things back that you think, oh, I could have done that better, or I could have done that better. So, but if you'd like more live streams or less live streams, then please do say. Yeah, I've got some good content coming out. So I did a day of test drives last week. So they're sort of coming out between now and the end of the month. There'll be plenty of car show videos. So I really need to break one of my cars. So I get to do some DIY. Because at the moment, the most exciting thing I can do from my street is changing the fog light bulbs on the TF, which I'm sure will be thrilling for me and for you. Let's have a look at some more comments. Pingu says the Impreza I bought on Sunday was for my son. Is this the son that's just passed his test? Is he going to be driving it straight away? Have you insured it yet? If so, which organ did you sell to fund it? But Pingu is also a Deanna Troy fan. Right, Google Deanna Troy. Ross says, is the diesel the same one in the Montegos and Maestros? Aunt had a Montego diesel, such a nice car to drive, but sadly dissolved now. Yeah, you don't see many. I've seen a few this year at shows so far. I did see one that was being used as a daily really near me last week. It was a Montego Countryman in not a British racing green, but more Le Mans Goodwood green sort of shade of green, probably not called that colour back then. And that had a bale of straw in the back. And I thought that is a cracking sight, a green Montego Countryman with a bale of straw in the back. And that was in the countryside between Aylesbury and Bicester. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, the L series I think was in the Montegos and Maestros, but an earlier variant which may have been called something different, like O series, something like, I can't remember. Pingu might be able to answer this one. But yeah, I drove a Maestro diesel back in the day, as they say, and that engine was agricultural, and it was non-turbo, just a straight diesel. God, it was slow, but my goodness, was it economical? And did it sound like a tractor? Yes. Does Penny sound like a tractor? Yes, but Penny's got a turbocharger. Yeah, very impressed with that engine, the L series, the Rover L series diesel engine. Simone says, Rob, Streetwise versus Streetcar. We could do that, couldn't we? And I imagine that if I was to drive the Streetwise into a streetcar, which I wouldn't do because I'm not Top Gear, the streetcar wouldn't do too well. Having seen one being driven into before, they don't kind of crumple. The panels just seem to all pop off, no matter where the car is struck. Yeah, that was my abiding memory of watching a car, Ford KA, being crunched. Is this poor young girl was just absolutely sitting there, absolutely shocked, basically not covered by any panels. They'd all fallen off. Shouldn't laugh, but it slightly amusing. She was okay. But yeah, we could do that. We need to find someone with a streetcar that's not dissolved. Yeah, do a bit of fun with that. Underscore does not watch Star Trek, but if she's out of my league, then obviously it's a yes from me. Of course, Simone says BRB, and Matt correct saying B&B. Yeah, so it's good that Matt's here for these things. Matt is an L series, slow and economical, and generous with soft drinks and snacks. Pingu says, yes, my son will have to wait 3 months until his 18th birthday to drive it on the road. Had to buy it now as bargain in Pretz is getting rarer than 3K 75s. Need to keep an eye on the 75 value to see if Mr. Richardson has got a point. Having seen that, I know I've said this before, but having seen that car up in Yorkshire, it does look good. It's a very nice looking 75. But I've driven a stock 1.8 turbo one now, and I'm going to drive Chris's MG slightly tweaked version. So I shall not give my conclusions about the 1.8 turbo here, because it'll be a massive spoiler. And Simone is back. You haven't missed an awful lot, Simone. Your be right back comment has only just been covered. Arnold Schwarzenegger is apparently. I was just about to read that comment underscore, and you've deleted it, retracted it. Pingu believes the Montegos, etc., used the 1.8 Perkins diesel, and the L series is a development of them apparently. Yeah, I know it's based on a Perkins Prima engine. Montegos and Maestros is the Perkins Prima engine. Thank you, Pingu. You've got my brain jolted, and the Prima engine was developed into the L series, so with a different injection rail and better turbo, and yeah, there we are. We got it. Teamwork. Thank you, sir. Dinosaur Dad Ross says Matt's Crown Vic was a nice looking car as well. Lol. Yeah, it's now well, I've seen a bit of the video of him welding short sections of inner sill, or the sill sandwich panel into place. So yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how that ends up. That one. Not that I'm a welder. I can weld, but I wouldn't even try now. I'm so out of practice. Matt now retypes the comment saying Arnold Schwarzenegger is starring in a musical. Yes, he's Bach. um, Stephen S. Paul says the owner. This is going back to the 1973 Fiat. The owner also has a 68 Renault 10, which will be up for sale after the Fiat sells if it sells. Not bad. It has some deep scratches all over it. He wants $600 for that. Crikey. I need to get a container over to your workplace, I think, at some point. And I don't know, drop some beer into the customs people to get or the USPS to get something sent over if they can sneak a car over in the post, because this just sounds mouth-wateringly lovely. Matt explains why he retracted or redacted his previous message. It auto-corrected to back. Bloody Skynet. Well, I'm blooming Skynet. I'm having trouble with Virgin Media tonight. Simone says, seeing as 75 values are on the up, is it worth saving £1,000 to get the bodywork fixed? If that's all it's going to cost, then I would say yes. Because that's a nice cut. When the bodywork, when the paint looks good on the ski and Wedgwood blue 75s, and the trim's looking nice, the wheels look nice. It's probably my favorite color on a 75, I have to say. And if it's corrected or renovated, it just looks amazing. Yeah, I've seen Matt from Furious 75. That looks amazing. I took out a ski blue 75 back in November, and that also looked absolutely amazing. Where did we get to? Pingu says, I did not get a good vibe from Matt's crusty Vic when he bought it. Maybe I'm a bit psychic like that Simon de Jeffries. You could be. Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a gamble, isn't it? Importing a car. I don't know how much he paid for it. I mean, I'm looking at some of the figures that Stephen's coming up with for what would get a lot more over here. They are, you can pick up cars much cheaper. I'm sure. I've never been to the States. I don't know much about car values in the States, but if what Stephen's saying is replicated all over the the whole United States, then I imagine he didn't pay too much for it. But yeah, it's good that he can do that work himself. Underscore says, and we shall pause to listen to this. Virgin Media is well named. It goes down on you. Sorry. Yeah. I'm in Aylesbury. There are definitely no virgins here. MG John is here. Good evening, John. How are you? Welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before, so it's marvelous you are here. MG John, I've been enjoying your MG6 cam belt, your donor engine videos. I've been watching those. So John says the L series in my 600 diesel was a far more refined and powerful engine compared to the Perkins ones in earlier Montegos and Maestros. Definitely. So it's a long time ago I drove a Maestro diesel. Yeah, and that was crude, but still interesting. Well, Simone's already got 10% of that £1,000, so that's excellent. Stephen S. Paul says, crushed about 4 of those Crown Victorias on Friday afternoon last week. I just thought about Matt's car. I chuckled. Rust-free cars have their unique sound when they get crushed. What? Crying? Colin is here. Expert in sent me Colin. Colin will get a shout out in a video fairly soon because Colin sent me some really helpful messages after seeing my first Tom Force video with his experience of tuning the 190 horsepower, the 187 horsepower KV6 engine. So that my I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, we've had the new front pipe put on, so we haven't got a 25mm section going into a cat, which was just strangling the poor little engine. But yeah, we got that front pipe on, got the exhaust fettled yesterday, took it out for a blast this afternoon. It's sounding rather good because it's making the right noises when it's revved, but when it's cruising, I can't hear a thing, which is exactly what I wanted. Got the K&N filter in, so yeah, we're going to have a part 2 or part 3 actually of seeing if we can get some more power. And I listened to you, Colin, because I've got 70mm exhaust all the way through, so we'll see what happens. But thank you for being here. It's nice that you are here. MG John says, covering the same point-to-point longer journey times in my 600 diesel to those in my preferred Rover 620 Ti petrol turbos, saw the diesels returning only a few mpg more than the petrol. That's very interesting. So a blown T series is not that much more, not as costly as so T series is only a bit more costly. I can't speak than an L series. Probably because I think the L series weighs, and this is real. Tell about L engine numbers. I think the L series is about twice the weight of the K series. Sorry, T series. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the L series is a heavy lump of engine. But yeah, that's interesting. An interesting comment, John. Pingu says, I can just remember driving a customer's Rover 220 SDI L series back in 2001. I was impressed with its turn of speed. Doesn't feel that quick, but boy, has it got some torque. It really pulls like a pulley thing. Colin is expert in only detecting natural versus fake boobs, nothing else, lol. Yes, but a T series can't be run on red diesel like an L series can. True. That's a good point, that is. But no, I'm loving my Streetwise. Yeah, it's going to be quite the thing once I can find some crazy headlining material. If you're going to repair it, I'm keeping everything else looking pretty standard. A little remap will be on the cards. But yeah, just watch this space on Penny, the lovely little Streetwise. Underscore couldn't find a diesel when I was looking for mine. Didn't have time to wait as I needed transport. Yeah, it's taken me 3 months to find that one. And it's the one I explained last week that was sold in Aylesbury to Tom, who then sold it to someone else in Wales within the space of like 2 weeks. And it's come back to Aylesbury. Piggy says L series can run on jam. I think L series can run on pretty much anything. And if it's got car jam in it, I think they still run, albeit a little bit hot. Colin says Mark II Streetwise is brilliant. Did you ever see the ones with the orange or glue or red octagon style interiors? No, but I would like to. Now you've said that. Simone says there must be a Streetwise MGZR mod. I think the world is your lobster with things like that. I really do. I think you probably almost certain, if you got the time and money, you could probably almost certainly make it into an MGZR type thing. Don't know if you put a VVC in and go for a 160 petrol, because you would have to rip the loom out, I think. Not sure about that, but maybe. Um, but yeah, no, I'm not going to go that far. It's going to stay. It's going to stay at that streetwise height. That nice little stance that it has. A bit like Penny at the coronation. Standing there with a magnificent stance for quite some time without getting sore wrists or forearms. Underscore almost Berta, but almost bought a Berlingo. Don't do that. Glad I went for the Streetwise. Yeah, other channels do Berlingos. Rose Cheeks says, never driven one, but I've fond memories of regular taxi ride in a newish at the time one. I'm guessing is the I'll yeah, add that bit in, unless you're going to put something completely random that would surprise everyone. Chris says, my first MG was an MG Maestro 2-litre EFI many years ago. Loved driving it, but the sunroof leaked like a sieve, so had to get rid. Big mistake. Would be worth quite a few quid now. Would be worth quite a bit now. It would. It would be a rare car, and would get looked at wherever you went. But it's interesting. Sunroofs leaked even when they were fairly new. There we go. Colin from Robson Rover Repair says the MG3 SW station wagon. They put SW, but they mean Tourer. In China is what you'd like. They even rallied them. Basically, full ZR with streetwise arches. Sorry, it's the MG3, not station. It was station wagon, wasn't it? But it's not a station. It's just a hatchback. Basically, a full ZR with streetwise arches and bits all coloured. I've seen pictures. Never seen one in the flesh. And then Colin goes on to say that Penny could handle a sword rightly. I sense that. I sense it myself. Simone is not a Berlingo fan, but we know who is. Rose Cheeks says, at the time, Montego Clubman Perkins Turbo. Loved the rise of the bonnet and slight whoosh as Robin the driver gave it the beans. Yeah, good engines. Good engines. Simon, I'm going to have to read this twice. No, I'm not. Simon said he'd lower a Streetwise. So I suggested he should get a ZR and put a Streetwise kit on it instead, if he ever went for one. Simon's got to get a Streetwise. In fact, everyone has got to try and get. Matt and Pingu are leaders, having had Streetwises for a little longer than I, but others need to get their hands on Streetwises while they're still cheap, because when it's the year of the Streetwise next year, prices will surely rocket. If anything gets into mainstream media, which it obviously and rightly will, the prices are going to go mad. Of course they are. They were worth $3,000 before you know it. But I'm not sure about lowering a Streetwise. Juju says, my parents bought a Berlingo back in the 90s and you weren't impressed at all. And I think the Berlingo is just the same as a Peugeot Partner, is it? Or Expert, something like that. And the, what's the Renault one? The Bipper. Or whatever it's called. I get confused. Rose Cheek says, apologies for my premature comment syndrome. These things can happen. Well, it's time for Ross to get himself on the road. 8 a.m. start. I'll listen in the background. I hope my dulcet tones don't lull you to sleep inappropriately. Well, I'm glad this second version of the live stream has gone better than the first with its buffying. Pingu says, if you do a review of my Streety on your channel, it'll be worth at least $3,595.95, if not more. Simone drove a Berlingo for a charity down here doing finance runs to each of their areas. It was slow, noisy, uncomfortable, and gutless. I think we can draw several inescapable conclusions from that. Renault Kangoo. Sorry, Juju. Yes, and my auntie in the Bordeaux region also had a Renault Kangoo in green, which she used to bring over when she came to see us. Underscore says, yeah, I was just desperate to get mobile as I had a knackered DSG box. Oh, DSG. Knackered DSG box on a Skoda. So it was the Berlingo or Streetwise. Glad I chose the Streetwise. I'm glad you chose the Streetwise. So on that basis, Underscore is a Berlingo with an L series now. I guess if you can look at it that way. But 2024 will not be the year of the Berlingo, nor will, in fact, any year unless appointed so by the Dark Monks. An old lady has offered Pingu 1,500 for it, but I want to keep it for now because this time next year, Pingu will all be driving around in £30,000 Streetwise. Yeah, 2024 year of the Streetwise period. No discussions. No, don't want to hear talk of MG6s or any nonsense like that. Streetwise, 2025 is, I think still open for debate. At least I hope it is, because I don't think anyone knows what a waffle butty is, if indeed it is anything. Well, this has been lovely. We've had some new faces. Thank you for those who have joined for the first time. Colin, Chris, a few others as well, but I've lost some of the names because, of course, I've lost the chat because the crash all went horrible. Chris, I said. Colin, I said. There was someone else in the original live stream that went downhill. But it's also very nice to have a couple of other channels on here tonight. We've got Robson Rover Repair. That's another channel. Hooked on Classics, for those of you who don't know, is another channel. So do please head on over to those channels and have a look at what they do. If you want to subscribe, then that's always good. Colin says, let's make 2024 year of the Streetwise. Buy them cheap and force the price up. We could be the GameStop stock market manipulators. Yeah. Rover 75 1.8 turbo Streetwise it's going to be a good year. And then 2025 we just find something cheap and then just watch influencers like us say these things, and the prices are bound to go up. We'll all have merch stores and God knows what before you know it. Simone says, yes, Colin, great idea. 2024 year of the Streetwise. Underscore likes that plan. And then Colin rightly, again, a bit of an elephant in the room. First we get the Streetwises, then we get the ladies. I mean, what do I drive down the main road in? My TF with the top down and Puccini. Oh, sorry, no. I don't know. 2-pack blaring out of the little speakers. Or do I fut in my agricultural sounding Streetwise down the main road, listening to greatest hits, Beds, Hearts and Bucks, and just having women turn round, giving me admiring glances, looking at the Goodwood green paint with a little lacquer peel on the roof and going, oh, look at that car. He must be really successful guy because he's got a Streetwise and it's the year that's going to happen. I can just see it now. 25 waffle butts every day. That's and that's part of the yeah, I think it's gonna be a new diet actually, the waffle butty diet. Don't quite know what the side effects are, but I do think a little debate. Pingu says another spider attack during your stream. Are you being attacked by a spider, or am I? Has my screen gone spidery? Because it looks okay for me. Um, Underscore says, who will be the first to fabricate a streetwise kit for a 75 Tourer? So you're thinking of like the Volvo XC70. So you could build a streetwise kit for the 75 Tourer V8 or 75 Tourer front wheel drive is fine. Then kind of get a viscous coupling from a Freelander and mount it on it, raise the suspension, and then you'd have Rover's answer to the Volvo XC70. Streetwise kit, viscous coupling, raised suspension. No one would know. No one would know. They think it's one of those rare 75 XCs. Brilliant. Like you're thinking, underscore. Hooked on Classic says 2025, not the year of the City Rover. I don't think any year should ever be the year of the City Rover. I love the MGs and the Rovers, but that isn't an MG or a Rover. It's a Tatar. Matt's cat just attacked my foot, lifted it up, and a spider was hiding behind it. So it wasn't attacking your foot. He was after the spider. Colin correctly reaffirms that it will never be the year of the City Rover. Matt says waffle butties can even be served as a dessert. I'm thinking of some like kind of American hip hop song now, like someone shaking their waffle butty and it bringing all the dogs to the back garden patio, something like that. Underscore would love to see someone do a 4x4 streetwise. Again, I think you just it must be really easy. You can do it with a cornflake packet, and we'll just nick Boaty's viscous coupling from his Freelander, just bolt it, 4 bolts onto the streetwise, done. It's as simple as that, I'm sure. Pingu's Streety had a CD changer full of country music. Spider attacking me again. Are you deploying them? Yes. Colin says, don't forget John has the 2.5 V6 Freelander drivetrain ZTT, the grey prototype. I need to know who this John is, because this sounds very interesting, Colin. Simone says, Pingu, my multi-CD player in the 75 is broken. Is it a Kenwood and has it gone kind of rusty inside? If so, I've got one of those as well, which I've now unbolted from the car because it was just using up valuable space in the boot. And I've installed a double DIN sat-navy thing in my I've got a 75 ZT 190. ZTT, what do I do with that? 177,000 miles, needs a new clutch, dual mass, needs an engine mount, needs probably a sensor somewhere. It's a bit smelly, or an EGR clean, maybe. Didn't pay very much for it. Bought it for some Apex wheels. Do I get it fixed up or do I sell it as it is? Don't know. Was hoping Austin or Adrian might buy it. They might still might. Don't know. Not in a rush, but yeah. As is 177,000 miles a lot for a ZTT diesel Tourer. No, Simone clarifies on her CD auto engine. No, Rust just stopped selecting discs. That's no good. Pingu has one. Pingu has come like a knight in shining armor with one from an E39 BMW. This is what teamwork and community is all about, in my opinion. Well, it's been lovely. I've just noticed the time. I think it's time to draw this to a close because I would like to go to bed. And I'm sure, having listened to me for the last hour with a small interruption, you two are also ready to go to bed. Colin gives me some very quick advice. Fix and keep 177k at 18-year-old is fine. 10k a year. Diesels are disappearing. Wait until 2030 if you can keep it clean. And when people need diesel cars, value will go up. True. Feel free to email me, ping you. Excellent. Cheers, Rob. I've enjoyed the chat too. Cheers, everyone. Nice to see some new people here. Meeting new people all the time. The buffering, buffering is my pleasure. That sounds so wrong. I'm sorry about the buffering. But yeah, if it happens again, we know what to do. Stop, restart again, and most people come back, which is lovely. Thank you all. Auf Wiederhören. Good night. Goodbye.